Okay, could I have everyone's attention? If you could be seated, please. We are going to proceed with our planning meeting. And just as a refresher, I'd like to do the same thing if we can hold things as close to that 3-minute mark. So if you could call the meeting to order with a roll call, please, ma'am.
Mr. Engler?
Here.
Mr. Clemens?
Here.
Mr. Erdy?
Here.
Mr. Guidry?
Here.
Mr. Wax?
Here.
Mr. Dana?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Ferris?
Here.
Ms. Long?
Here. For the sake of documentation, this is the planning meeting, Planning Commission for September 4th, 2025. Here on item number 3, the adoption of the minutes from the regular meeting on August 7th. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Abstain.
Mr. Guidry?
Abstain.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 4, it's the RV and boat storage. Von Page. It is a conditional use permit. That's LA Highway 441, Section 6, T7S R6E, zoned R2, Council District 9. Yes, Mr. Rudy, if you will state your name and sign in, please.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'll say it again. Rudy Sinco. I'm with McLennan Taylor. This is a conditional use permit. I believe y'all may have got an email with a quick sketch of what we're proposing here. I'm not sure if y'all got it. If not, I got some printouts I can hand out. But this is 5.8 acres. It's zoned R2. The owner, Von Page, would like to develop a small neighborhood business. This property sits back off of Highway 441. It's got a 50-foot right-of-way, or a 50-foot swath of land that goes into and opens up into, a larger rectangular piece of land. And it wants to be RV and boat storage. So I just did a generic layout. As we work through a preliminary site plan, that may change and alter, but that will come back before y'all for approval at a later date. Anybody need the handout?
Okay, if we have any, I think we've got what we need. Do we have anything from the planning department? Okay. Ms. Morgan,
We don't
engineer.
review this at this time, so they're wanting to see if they can actually get the permit for the use before they can move forward with submit type.
Is there
back
anything
to
for you? Okay. All right. So, any comments or questions from the commission?
So this is coming as conditional primary use in R2, this would fall under small business. So, and not a question for you, Mr. Rudy, just a general comment. I think we're very vague in this ordinance on what can and cannot fall, like what is a small business? And how do we decide which small businesses are okay for conditional use permits in these residential categories and which are not? I think there's some that we'd all very easily agree on. We've talked before about things like hair shops and daycares and things like that. But I don't know where that line is, and this is just, I'm not saying I have the right answer, just a general kind of comment to the commission of we're going to have to put some thought and I think possibly ask our council for some additional guidelines around small business because it's a very vague category and I'm a little hesitant to just hand out a lot of conditional use permits for small businesses, especially in these smaller lot residential categories.
Rudy, can you tell us, when they look at, like, what type of structure would they be planning? What type of things do you feel would be involved in?
Yeah, I think he's still developing that on if it's just going to be open storage or buildings. You know, I can't answer that at this point, but he's just the development stage. You know, as far as the zoning, I think to the west of it, it is small business along that corridor. You know, so I feel like it would, you know, be future. You know, most of it's not developed at this point, but
What exists in this, and I don't know if it's the same map that you have, but when you have all this area, what
that's
is?
Holden's Catfish.
Okay, so it's no kind of homes or nothing?
Yeah, catfishing. I don't know if they're still in operation or not. Oh,
Oh, okay. Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, I went there when I was a kid.
All right, any other questions or comments? Yes, sir, Mr.
I have a comment to make, not necessarily about the RV and boat storage, but I guess to echo what Ms. Ferris is saying, we've had 2 conditional uses before tonight. And now tonight, we got 3. So I'm just wondering where we're heading. Why are we not changing, if it's zoned R2, and if they want to change it to small business RC1, why did not go the zoning route to rezone instead of doing conditional use? And we have 2 before us tonight on RV and boat storage. So where are we heading? I'm concerned that what we're doing is precedent setting down the road. If we keep doing this, we're going to have more and more and more and more. Now, where are you going to stop? You might not be able to stop. After you do this so many times, it's precedent setting. I think the attorney can address that. So I want to bring that issue. I'm not against the development. It's the way we're doing it. And then we've got 2 more coming at the end. How we're going to handle that? That's conditional use. So, and we get to those, I would tell the commission what I saw when I went by and inspected, and I'm just wondering if we're doing the right thing.
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Erdy.
About this site specifically, I'm real familiar with that area. It's mostly just vacant land for the most part. And it is right near the interstate, and it's pretty near the river and a lot of campgrounds. So for this one specifically, I mean, I don't really see any issue with it. And I understand what you're saying about the zoning versus the conditional use. As far as what I've looked through, the conditional use seems to be more applicable case-specific versus rezoning an entire area, but obviously you can just rezone that specific plot of land instead of, you know, I don't know if it's 6 one hand, half dozen the other, but I know in this one specifically, I don't really see any issue with it.
Right. I think what it involves is we have had some comment, it was a subdivision, and one homeowner wanted to create, and just say, for example, if someone wanted to put, you know, repair cars and they're going to have 50 of them, and you're in a neighborhood, that's one example of what we have to consider, versus here, there's no neighbor affected, there's no, so that's why it's something they bring to us for the individual circumstance. So you're right, it's case by case.
Right. Gotcha.
It states it clear where it says, right on the first sentence, it says on 11787, I'm reading it, conditional uses or land uses permitted within zoning district only with approval from this zoning authority. I mean, so we have the right, like you're saying, you feel it's good in your area.
Case by case.
So, yeah, it states it, the first sentence
Well,
states
it
it.
does
that we do
allow
have
us
that.
to do it case by case, so. But, okay, so back to this particular, do we have any other comments by the commission?
I was going to try to answer the
Yes, sir,
question that was
please.
posed. I think conceptually, a small neighborhood business is going to be something associated with the neighborhood itself, for instance, the residences around it. I don't, if it was somebody coming in with a car lot, I would have a problem with that fitting. But on the other hand, this is what medium density residential. You have certainly a lot of potential for people to have RVs and boats and not really have a place to put them at their home. And so the storage facility would make sense. So I think from the standpoint of this specific situation, it would make sense to allow the RV and boat storage as a convenience to the residents.
So it meets a need that
Yes,
the area has, okay.
I
Yes,
could
and-
address Mr. Burns. I understand what you're saying, Mr. Burns, about how many times do we approve conditional uses before it turns into a precedent setting? I mean, if we approve 72 of them and then we disapprove the 73rd, the case be made that we're not being even-handed. So I guess it's a question on what we do on the other two tonight.
I think it
Well,
again
Mr.
allows,
Bryan,
it's individual.
I don't know, if we done two, and if we do three more tonight, that's pretty well precedent setting.
I'm saying, I understand, I see
Then
your
where are you
point.
gonna stop? You're not gonna stop.
Well, I think, but the attorney just alluded to the fact that if it's a need and it is in the ordinance, it allows us to. We're not doing something that's
Yeah, but
not
I
in the
don't think this
ordinance.
ordinance is quite clear.
What I just read.
It goes on to
very
say,
clear.
this designation balances community needs with protections and disruptions such as noise and traffic, and which is incompatible with residential areas. But I don't think this ordinance here is quite clear. I don't think it's definitive enough. I mean, if we're gonna allow every one of them to come on a vacant lot, then why do we need C1? We don't need C1. Just do everything C1.
Yes, sir.
The short answer to that question is conceptually, C1 would be something that would draw more of a crowd from a larger area than just the neighborhood, whereas conceptually the RV and boat storage would be something that the people who actually live on the property around it would use to store their RVs and boats that they might have. So ultimately, it's a question of it making logical sense, and that does make sense. Not every proposed conditional use would make sense, but something like this does seem to make sense.
Okay, if we can move on, do we have any other questions? If not, I'd like to have a motion. Yes, ma'am.
So just in checking the anticipated land use maps, both in the existing master plan and the hopefully soon to be adopted master plan, it looks like this area immediately south, so this is immediately south basically of I-12 in Holden. The existing master plan land use map looks like it has that as maybe light industrial. It's kind of hard to tell on a smaller map. The proposed master plan, which again has no bearing, hasn't been adopted yet, also looks to have this area as mixed use and commercial. So the zoning that's there today could end up kind of in conflict with the recommended land uses anyway in the next couple of months, just for consideration.
I believe this is in the economic corridor.
Yeah, so it would conform, unlike, again, if something was a residential area and somebody chose to do something that was very conflicting use as well as offensive to the neighborhood, that's something that we wouldn't necessarily approve versus this, but we do have the option. So if I can have a motion, please.
Motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Okay, so Mr. Erdy made the motion and Mr. Guidry second. All right, if we could take a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 5, open a public hearing. And this is for Coastal Process 3. It's a preliminary site plan. And it is James Chapel Road, Section 33, T6S R6E, Zone C1, District number 9. And sir, if you could state your name, please.
Sure.
And
My name's Craig Quarry with Monroe and Quarry. I'm representing the owner of this project. We're the engineer. This is a site plan for Lot 1 of the Coastal Oaks Industrial Park that was approved last month. Mr. Tatum has this building, well, he's got 2 buildings across James Chapel Road that are existing, and he is proposing putting a building similar to what he's got out there now.
do we have any questions from any commissioners? Okay. Planning Department, any comment? Engineer.
So all of my comments have been addressed. He is right. This came at our last meeting for the overall park. He's doing a commercial subdivision is basically what he's doing. And he's still in the process of designing that drainage, final construction. So this is just one of the lots.
Okay. All right, any other public comments? All right, we're going to close the public hearing. And what action is required? Well, it was just a public hearing.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to take any action.
Yes.
I do have a question,
Yes,
or
sir.
will we do that on the next? You were saying there was only one of the developments that was being brought up for that whole plot of land. If we were to, I guess, approve it, would there be any, if it got too expansive at a certain point after another?
So they're actually cutting the overall tract into lots, and they're
Okay.
going to build all the infrastructure. And then they're going to sell those lots to people that want to come in for light industrial, commercial use. And when that happens, those individuals would still have to come to you and present their plan.
To be
But they don't
approved.
have to do drainage again because the overall developer
Infrastructural.
decided he's putting that in now.
Gotcha.
Okay, so,
I'd like
To
to make
move
a
forward.
comment, Ms. Kathy. I think, was it, Mr. Brown, was it last meeting we approved the plat, and here we are coming back with the first development within it, and that's a positive thing, so. And it's
yes.
in the right place. Close to the interstate, it's where it's supposed to be, and that's a good thing.
Okay, so do we want to have a motion of just confidence to move forward?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Burns and Mr. Clemens.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. And moving to item number 6, open and public hearing for the Light of the World Church Edition. It's the final site plan, Aztec Drive, Section 17 and 18, T7S R3E, and it's zoned the MHP District 5. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Sean Hyma with Alvin Fairburn and Associates here on behalf of Light of the World Church. This is the existing church in Eastover Estate subdivision in Denham Springs. They have a 3.5 acre tract kind of in the middle of that subdivision with an existing building on the site. They would like to construct a multi-purpose building, roughly 4,000 square feet, next to their existing building. And we're just here tonight to request approval not requesting any variances or waivers. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any other comments by the public?
I just want to say, add comment, Aaron Sandifer, council rep for that district. The church has been existing there. It is a vital part of that community. I don't know about the mobile home zoning, the mobile home park zoning, but that was there before. And I see on the map, that's what the zoning is. I think that that needs to be corrected, or it needs to be conditional use, or anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Okay. I'm sorry. Correct. Let's see. So any other comments? What about planning? Do you have anything?
So, this is on here twice because they meet the exception to drainage impact study. They're not increasing their impervious area by more than 10%. So they have to have that's why they have to do the public hearing first, and then they are going to have the final site plan, which is the approval of their plans to construct. And they've addressed all of our comments.
Okay. All right. So any other questions or comments about this multi-use facility? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question, I guess, for legal about the zoning. I have zero issue with the church wanting to build another building, but with it zoned MHP, every other zoning category specifically calls out houses of worship as a permitted use, and MHP does not. So should we, it's one of those things that it kind of falls into a non-conforming use. They're already there. But with the addition of another building, should we request that they rezone that property?
So in our ordinance, they have something, I think it's at the very beginning of the zoning. This is an addition to an existing. They are allowed to expand their existing business even if it was zoned incorrectly. So they, just like your grandfather didn't keep using it, an addition counts as well, any kind of addition or modification.
But we would want to clean that up, possibly.
That would be up to the church.
Yeah.
But it can still be permitted through our office, or through their office.
I'll make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aaron was talking about that area, Eastover Estates put in 50 years ago. It wasn't a mobile home park when it was first established. They sold lots in there, every one of them in there, and that churches in there. They had in the middle, they had a recreational center for the tenants, but it started out as something really nice, and some houses were built in there. Most of them are manufactured houses and mobile homes, but it was never classified as a mobile home park. Now, it's still privately owned, so it's not a mobile home park. Mobile home parks are not, lots are not privately owned. Anything in that area good, like a church, is an improvement in that area, in my opinion.
Well, I think, and I actually meant to say non-conforming, not conditional. Let me just make that correction.
I don't know how it was zoned mobile home park. That was an error.
I agree. That was the next thing I was going to say.
It should not be mobile home park.
It was an oversight. It was my oversight, and I just make the necessary corrections. I support it. Yeah. So
it started out as a subdivision with improvements, but it went downhill.
Okay, if we can, do we have any motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
And, I'm sorry, closing the public hearing. And so just a motion to move forward on this item.
Yep.
So we have Mr. Clemens and then Ms. Ferris. I'm sorry, Mr. Wax. And if we can take a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Now, moving on to item number 7, the Light of the World Church Edition. This is the final site plan approval request, Aztec Drive, again, section 17 and 18. As discussed, it's already been recommended to move forward by engineering and planning departments, and I think all the questions, do we have any other questions? Then if we can have
I'll
a
make a
motion,
motion.
please. Mr. Guidry makes a motion to approve,
I'll second.
and Mr. Engler follows with a second. If we could take a vote, please.
Can I clarify the first vote on
Yes.
who did the motion and the second? We didn't catch it.
I did the motion.
Motion and Brian second?
Somebody
I
else.
did,
Ms.
I did.
Norman.
I should have said
Mr. Guidry
Brian. No, I did.
Okay, I apologize.
Thank you. All right, now for this one.
You're right.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 8. Public hearing will be opening for the Denham Springs Notary Inspection Preliminary Site Plan, Louisiana Highway 16, Section 40, T7S R3E, Zoned C1, District 5. Yes, sir.
I'm here on behalf of Thomas Johnson with Alvin Fairbairn and Associates, here on behalf of Denham Springs Notary Inspection. This is located not too far from the Walmart, family Walmart, right there off of Highway 16, almost across from Eastover. They would like to construct a vehicle inspection place right there, just really small building outside. They got a runway, I call it, for their vehicles to have to drive down. And we're just asking for y'all's approval tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any comments from the engineers or planning?
All of our comments have been addressed. We would recommend them moving forward.
Okay. Any questions by any commissioners, any comments? And do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Oh, I'm closing. Oh, sorry.
Motion approved.
Mr. Clemens and Mr. Wax.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy? Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Thomas, you may move forward. Okay, item number 9, public hearing. We're opening for dependable storage, preliminary site plan, Walker South Road, Section 12, T7S R3E, Zone C1, District 6. And who is representing this? If you could step up, please.
Good evening, John Lambertson with Karuba Engineering. We represent the developer on this project. This is a great developer. They're an owner-operator of all their facilities. This will be the 9th one in Louisiana, 10th altogether. They keep a clean property. This will be a beautiful, beautiful property when we're done. We believe we've met and exceeded all the codes, in particular drainage, and we're humbly asking for your approval.
Any other comments? Public comments? Yes, ma'am, if you'll come forward. State your name and sign in, please.
My name is Deborah McGahee, and I actually live on the east side of this property and just would like to know some more details about what it would look like. I hear that, or I have investigated, they're usually 2 to 3 story buildings. Our property, our driveway is pretty close to the property line, and so I know that there's a 20-foot setback from that, and just been there for 19 years and would just kind of like to know what the property would look like.
Yes, sir. Is that something you can speak to?
So, I'm sorry, I didn't catch her name, but she is correct. There is a 20-foot setback. Our building is approximately 35 feet from the property line, the east side. So that, we're looking at about 85 feet or so from that east side property line. It will be fenced, opaque fence and security fence. So it will be significantly far away from the property line. Yes. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Oh, we're proposing chain link. No, we're proposing wood fencing. It's gonna be
Yeah,
wood
so
fencing.
directly
Yeah.
on her property line, it has
Okay,
to
directly
be
on, yes.
wood.
It has to be wood, yes.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna have wood.
Eight,
fencing.
8 foot.
8 foot. Yep. And 3-story. Yeah.
Ma'am, could you step up to the
Yeah,
front,
yeah,
please,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
address? Yes, sir. And you can stay because the questions are, you are the only one who can answer for her. So if you would.
So there are trees on the property line. Does that mean that all of the trees have to be down?
No, I
Okay,
mean-
so in stating that to her, are you making a commitment that
Well, so
y'all
we-
will try to preserve those trees?
Of
or-
course, yeah. We're not in the business of knocking down any trees that aren't in the development's way. There is, like you mentioned, a 25-foot setback of grassy area between the property line and our concrete area, the roadway to access the site in particular.
Mhm.
So yeah, any trees that are within that area, I don't foresee us knocking them down, and I can confirm that with the
Okay.
developer.
If you would, and if you would share your contact with her.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
I-
that way
that's
y'all
fine.
can communicate. And
Yes.
the 8-foot wood fence is required next to your property.
Along the property line.
So that you know that. They have the right to do the other on the other sides, but for you, it'll be an 8-foot wood fence. But if you will please share with her, that would,
Absolutely,
I think,
yeah.
be very
I'm
helpful.
Right
Okay,
after
thank
y'all, I'm
you.
gonna run to my car and grab some business cards. So
That's
anybody that wants
perfect.
to reach
That's
out.
perfect. Okay, does anybody have any other questions for this gentleman before he? Okay, Mr. Burns?
I got a question about the 35-foot buffer. I understand the lady must live next to it that's protesting that. And you got a three-story storage building next door, right? Our multifamily ordinances, if it's more than one story, if it's 2 stories, it requires a 50-foot buffer. I think we got a problem there on commercial, and we really haven't addressed anything yet that I know of about more than 1 story high on commercial, what the buffer should be. But in my case, if it's 50 foot is required on multifamily, at least 50 foot should be required on any commercial.
Yep. If I can't address the zoning, I'll let zoning address that. But in terms of the setback, so the building itself is about 85 feet from the property, a little more. than
85 feet?
85, yes, 85.
From her property?
From that property line, the east property line, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
He mentioned that there's a
But I
drive.
think we need to make the ordinance needs to be
Yeah,
changed
that's-
on that.
I can't speak to
for-
that, yes.
For our
Of course, yeah.
in-house stuff.
And it may have bearing, I know we've discussed before, when it has a window, because you can overlook, that's part of the issue.
Mhm.
And if it's something that has
Yeah.
no windows, which apparently I would think this doesn't.
There's going to be a few windows for the corridors, just for natural lighting, but yeah, it's
But
rare.
I would think
Yeah.
on that
I mean,
side.
I believe they average around 7 trips a day for people showing up and going. Yeah, so nobody's
Yeah.
staring out the windows or anything
Right.
nefarious of that variety. And it is fully secure. There's cameras, surveillance.
Mhm.
They do top of the line security around this facility.
Okay.
So if anything, it'll. I mean, not that the neighborhood's not safe, but it would
Right.
be even.
But the
more safe.
85 foot should be comforting, I would think. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments? I'm going to close the public hearing. And anyone else? If not, if we could have a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, take a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Moving on to item 10, the Welcome Sea Store Gas Station. This is a public hearing that I'm opening, and the preliminary site plan will be reviewed. This is on Florida Boulevard, Section 32, T6SR3E, and it is Zone C1, and it's Council 4. Yes, sir. If you would please state your name.
Tom Marray. We're here, my partner and I are looking to develop a convenience store and restaurant on the south side of 190 in what's part of the Bonneville tract between the traffic circles at Eden Church and Jubin. So I think you have the site plan. What I do have here is just a nifty little colorful handout giving you a little bit of a better picture of what we're doing. This is the same owner. Thank you so much. This is the same, my partner's the one who developed, I did the brokerage for him on the Jubin Road traffic circle at Buddy Ellis. And we have several more stores in the area, Addis, Prairieville, a couple going up in Walker. It's very high quality, well staffed. They cut brisket there. It's not just rolled hot dogs and, sun lamp burgers. It's a substantial little market. The plan is pretty straightforward. We've applied for we're in the middle of wrapping up our traffic studies for approval with the DOTD to get their approval. But all we're really asking for is a right-in, right-out on the two drives. The drive on the east side is going to be used for the rest of the development by the Bonneville family once they develop that. So we're working closely with them to be what I call a good developer, cooperate with their future capability to develop the rest of that track. So we're still working through final approval from DOTD, but we're getting very close on that. But like I said, we're asking for the minimal right-in, right-out because we know the traffic there is so hard. Might as well just turn right, use the traffic circles, which I'm personally a fan of.
Right. Okay, and thank you for these. It's always helpful to get a better vision.
Oh, I got pictures of the food we're going to serve. Just want to add.
But you did not bring food.
I want to add.
You should have brought it. That's the problem.
Well, I was there. I should have brought
and you just admitted that it's available. So.
Well, you know what? I know where you work. I'm going to come back and bring something. One of the things I'm really excited about, because I'm originally from Kaplan, but but grew up in Baton Rouge in high school, so I'm very familiar with this area. But he's got a deal with the Best Stop Boudin people, so he's going to serve. He's going to have crackling and Boudin. And we're talking west of Atchafalaya food. Bring it over here. So, it's a good product. I'm glad to be a partner with him on these developments. I've brokered all his deals in this area, and now we've got one simultaneously working in Zachary. We're not trying to be the corner store, even though Buddy Ellis and Jubin is a great corner. A lot of our sites are really just to capture and capture the local residents, be there for them for a convenient store location.
Okay. Do we have any comments from planning or engineering?
All of our comments are addressed. We would recommend moving.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
I had a Best Stop Boudin, like Best Stop in Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion.
What's that?
She said motion to approve.
Where are you? Are you from? Are you from that part of the state?
No, I've just been back and forth to Houston a whole bunch, and I know where the good boudin is at.
I got a
Yes, sir.
comment.
Okay, yes,
This
sir.
is going to be Shell Station, right?
Yeah, we got a Shell. So far it's a Shell brand. That's what we've negotiated so far.
We have no Exxons in the city of Denham Springs. I was just wondering if you would consider doing
I'm really relying on my partner. My expertise is real estate in the development process. His is
not the
running
one
the
that
stores.
makes the decision on gas, huh?
Yeah, he's running the stores, and he has Chevron and Shell are been and Valero have been most of the brands he's deal with, but it's not out of the question in the future. Where do you want us to be?
Exxon.
Where?
Oh, Exxon.
Anywhere in
Okay.
those
He wants-
We're working
he's
on
saying
There's one
Exxon.
going to Watson, there's one in Walker.
All right, when I
and
come
that's
back
all
here
the
in a few
gas.
months with a
That's
site
all
from
I
Watson.
buy is Exxon gas.
Well, I work
And I
for
have to go
Shell,
somewhere
so
else.
there-
That's the point.
There's competition. She works for Shell.
All I say is
So-
when I come back here looking for something somewhere else in this parish, y'all remember I got the goods, okay?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. And so any other questions or comments? If not, if we could have a motion, please. Motion to approve. Okay.
I'll second for Boudin.
Yes, Ms. Sarah, and followed up with Mr. Burns, which means you trumped him on with Shell, so. Okay, we can
Mr.
have a
Engler?
vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, item number 11, Electrical and Generator Company LLC, a conditional use permit on Juban Road, Section 16, T7S R3E, zoned R2, District 5. If we have someone representing us on that.
Yes, Rudy Sinco with Macklin Taylor. Yes, conditional use, very similar to one we had earlier. This is zoned R2, and we're asking to be for conditional use permit for this small business. This business is, it's going to have some office space, a warehouse where they can work out on electrical equipment and generators, as the name alludes to. Concrete parking and a building with buffers and everything that meets the ordinance. Be happy to answer any other questions.
I have a I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I
apologize.
When I pulled it up on the aerial photo, it looks like this is going to be basically right next door, butted up to residential. Would it happen to be that the homeowner of that place is the one that's building this?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
But he does live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have any questions from planning, and what about engineering?
I do.
Just 1 second, let them speak.
Right now, y'all are doing the conditional use, so for that, I don't have any.
Okay, I
but
just
I'll
wanna make-
have comments on the next.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Now, Mr. Burns, what?
I just revisit the conditional use again. That particular lot is make it look like there's been some land clearing on it, and to the south and to the east is a residence, big houses, nice houses. I welcome the business. I'm pro business, and I think, but it gets back to conditional use and what Mr. Urban has said, that basically people in the neighborhood would patronize that business, but in this particular right here, people in the neighborhood probably would not be coming to this business. They'd be coming from outside the area. So I don't see how in the world we can do conditional use. It should be a zoning change to small business or C1. I don't think Mr.
Other than
Urban
that, could
heard
be
me.
spot zoning, but it,
So I'm just wondering, I think that we need
Scooter,
to
if you
get,
have a comment.
Yes, so Mr. Gerald, it's in the anticipated rural corridor, so it will fit, but this particular, there's not gonna be people going there all the time. This is where he's gonna house his little, warehouse for electrical and heat and air and whatever he's doing in there. It's not gonna be a big, everybody's gonna get parts or stuff like that.
I don't disagree with what
Yeah.
you're saying at all. My point is, it's back to conditional use again. Now we're getting more and more conditional use
Well, I agree.
on a commercial establishment that will not be supported by the people in the community. So here we are. It should not be conditional use. If we need to get WSP to, Mr. Urban, to change the language of conditional use and where it should and should not be for clarification, but it doesn't fit in.
Of course, I told you how I thought the conditional use thing should be defined in a residential zone. And my inclination on this one is that it probably should be a rezone request.
Yeah.
And
That's my
just so
opinion.
I'm clear, that's just because we feel that it doesn't meet the needs of the neighborhood and along Jordan Road corridor?
That's
when I say
one of
we-
the parameters, is what he was suggesting
Yeah.
earlier, that's one of the factors. It's not in totality, but
I mean, no, go ahead.
So if the future land use maps.
I'm sorry, would you state your name and
Aaron
sign? please?
Sandifer.
I'm sorry.
Aaron, I understand.
It's for the record.
Thank you. Aaron Sandifer, council rep for this area. If the anticipated future land use map passes, as it is, we got it tonight, that will be rural corridor, which will accept that. So would it be able to move forward if that anticipated map passes as is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do, I mean, that's, zoning is supposed to be based on a plan, and so
Right.
what we're talking about is a plan. So,
Right. So again, when we discussed early on that zoning is a fluid document, especially right now, we're in interim zoning, that the probability is that's all going to change anyway. But for him to move forward, he'd have to have conditional at the moment because otherwise, if it's all residential there and he wanted to change just that one, then it becomes spot zoning. And
Yeah.
so that's not going to be possible. But if the future map that we just got is indicating that that's going to transition anyway.
If it passes, yeah.
Right, if that passes, I
Well,
think.
let me say, we've not approved the new anticipated land use maps yet, okay?
Correct. Not yet.
Well, that's what.
No, we haven't done that yet, but you're talking about the rural corridor, and there is no zoning rural corridor. There's no definition in the definition of the land use development code, rural. It does not say that, but if you go to Webster's dictionary, rural says it's more like countryside than it is town. So which one is it? Is it going to be countryside or is it going to be town?
It is defined in the anticipated definition, rural corridor. It is defined.
Not in the definition.
It hasn't passed yet.
It's not. I've looked at it today. It's not in there.
It's in there.
promise.
I don't have my folder with
I
me.
bet my house against yours. It's not in there. It's not in there.
What's
We have
not
it.
where?
Excuse me,
I'm
but-
just confused.
But my point is, it's back to conditional use again. So are we going to throw out all C1 zoning or neighborhood businesses and just declare everything conditional use? Is that where we're heading? I think that's where we're heading, and it's precedent setting. I'm telling you. You ain't going to stop it once it gets past a certain point.
yeah, go ahead.
I think the question y'all keep asking is what's the purpose of conditional use? So maybe that would help.
Well, we need to ask WSP to change the definition of convenient use. Convenient use.
I think it is
Conditional
defined.
use, I'm
but it-
sorry, conditional use. But we need to ask I would be my suggestion to clarify the definition of it, conditional use, okay?
Well, one way to clarify the definition of it is through the body of decision that y'all make. And as what I've suggested to you previously is that the conditional use in an area that's zoned residential but allows a conditional use, that I think what's envisioned is a business use which would be used by the people in the neighborhood, like a convenience store. That we had the storage that came up previously, and particularly the fact that was a medium density residential area where people might not on their property have the place to store their boats and RVs, or their boats and four-wheelers or whatever. So that makes some sense. My concern about this and this is hitting me more or less cold, but that this sounds more like something where people are going to be not from the community around
That's
it
right.
using it, but people are going to, this is going to be a destination that people
That's
go
correct.
to transact some kind of business.
Right.
Now, at the same time, this is in an area where in the land use plan that's under consideration and that you will have before you in the near future is going to allow this kind of use in this area as it's along corridors. There's going to be things that are more commercially aligned along the major corridors, which is one of the concepts of the plan. So this is not going to be a situation that exists forever, and the only question is if you grant a conditional use permit tonight that I don't think really exactly fits in what's currently there, but it's coming. So.
You got it corrected. This is a wholesale operation, not a retail.
Okay.
Drawing a bunch.
Okay, okay. It's a wholesale I'm told it's a wholesale operation rather than a retail operation.
Right. I can understand the convenience store in the neighborhood being a conditional use. I can understand that because the neighborhood is going to support the convenience store. But in this case, the neighborhood will not support this business. Some might, but most of the people are going to be out of area.
May,
Yes, Mr. Clement?
something we discussed last meeting, not saying we all decided, but we did discuss it. There's the master plan that we have today and that one we're considering for tomorrow. The one that we have today says we need to consider this for a conditional use. And as our attorney has let us know, it really doesn't fit a conditional use. It might not be a bad idea to reintroduce this one after the next master plan has been. Just up to you, but if it is rejected, it's going to put the quash on the whole thing for a while.
How long?
How long
What is the
after?
rule on that? If you deny conditional
Unless we
use?
rezone it.
If you pull it, you look at it. November.
And if it's denied,
It's up to you if you want to roll the dice.
I'm just
you know.
saying, what is the recourse? I can't come back next month if we.
No, you won't be able to come back
Rezone?
next month, no.
Excuse me, Scooter, what is, and Natalie, when
So
can he
if it-
return if it were denied? When can
If
he
it were
return?
denied, I
Wait,
couldn't
because
ask.
I feel like the 3 months is when they want to change the zoning. If he came to ask you for conditional use, he did not ask you to change the zoning of the property. So
Right.
that, I don't think that 3 months applies unless.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that delay applies. And like I say, you have a new plan that I would expect is going to pass. There may be some tweaks to it, but I would expect the basic guts of this is going to pass. And
Yeah. Well, and I would imagine that if this was denied and it does pass as anticipated, then you would conform anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
it would fit. You wouldn't have to come back for that reason.
Exactly. Except
It-
for site plan. site
Correct.
plan approval.
Correct. But in the sense of try to, change any type of zoning, it would fall into place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, there's just one more point I would make. I think it states small business, not small neighborhood business. We're throwing that term around and what the neighborhood's going to do. I think the ordinance just says small business.
So you want to come back and try to get it rezoned? Is that what you're doing?
That's not what he said.
That's not what it said.
That's not what he said.
Were you
I mean,
pulling
we're-
it?
He's reading to you what your ordinance says.
It doesn't say that it has to, the whole neighborhood and everybody has to go there daily. It says small
it
business.
does say small neighborhood business, so,
Well, I'm
or
ready.
small business, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a motion.
Okay, well, I think we need to explore that a little more. Aaron, did you have something you wanted to say?
I just,
need to say I do support it. It is a wholesaler. It's not retail. It's an electrical and generator company. I welcome it. It's infrastructure, it's tax revenue,
Right.
it's a great thing. The setbacks
No.
are, I agree with the setbacks that they have in place. That jives with anticipation of land use.
Look,
So-
I
Okay.
welcome the development there.
Yeah.
I would use it. The only issue that we have, or I have, is the word conditional use. For outside people coming into that neighborhood, it doesn't fit.
Well, yeah, and I think it's always been more from the standpoint of, like we talked about, if you're in an established neighborhood and one home is trying to do,
That's
fix
right.
cars all up and down the
That's
driveway,
right.
it harms the neighborhood.
That's right.
This has nothing around it that it's harmful to, and it does bring revenue. It does, there's no conflict per se. And I think that's, when they come to us and if there's a conflict is where the judgment comes in versus, in this case, there's no negative other than us being, wanting a little more clarity, but that's not, tonight, that's not the issue. That's an overall thing we'd like to see happen, but as of right now, there's nothing really that should stand against, that should hold it up.
I do have one last question.
Yes, sir.
So it's wholesale, is it like maintenance and things as well, or is it just straight up just wholesale electrical and generator? Just because, it is most predominantly, spread out neighborhood. There is an Anytime Fitness right near there, but, there's two houses right almost directly next to it, so, just.
It's a long
Yeah, when
time.
we're-
Livingston Parish resident came in months. Department going out on his own finally, doing his thing like
Gotcha.
we want people to do.
Yeah.
There's no reason to turn it down tonight. I agree with Mr. Gerald. Let's fix that stuff for the future.
Gotcha.
I have,
Mr. Steve's got an answer.
I think I've come up with a solution for this. My main concern is that opening the door with just, we're going to grant conditional use. This is residential zone, but we're going to grant conditional use, and then somebody comes along with progressively worse places to do it, and where are you going to draw the line? I think in this case, if you make clear that you're granting the conditional use permit in anticipation of the fact that the new parish land use plan is going to allow this use. In other words, you're specifically taking into consideration that we've got a land use plan, it's on the agenda, the ads are about to start running, the hearing date's actually set on it. Yeah, well, I say it, the date's, it's going to be the week of October 6th, if I remember right. So if you're specifically taking into consideration that there is a new land use plan and that this would be compatible with it, and that's why you're doing it, I have a lot less grief about opening the door for everything because you're defining a reason for your position and your decision.
All right. So, any other questions, or do we have a motion, please?
I just want to say that I think I'm familiar with this business, and Rudy, you may not know this, but they are a generator, like a whole home generator.
Yes, I believe so.
Installation company, right? So they service and install residential generators in the area, right? Is that this business?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's
So-
that?
Good point. During hurricane season.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of patronage of people coming in and out. You don't just go pick up a generator, so.
No.
Okay, now, do we have, well, absolutely,
Yeah, and I
or
just wanna
need
make a point
service.
that our conditional use is, it specifically mentions convenience stores, like you say, but it does talk about, as long as it is servicing the area, that it can be a conditional use. And I feel like this is definitely servicing our
Yeah.
area.
I've known several people who theirs have gone out, so
Yeah.
they would appreciate that. Okay, do we have a
And
motion?
For that reason, I'm in favor of it. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Mr. Wax, second by Mr. Dana.
Mr. Engler,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Erdy,
Yes.
Mr. Guidry,
Yes.
Mr. Wax,
Yes.
Mr. Dana,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
No.
Ms. Ferris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 12, we have a public hearing on Electrical and Generator Company, LLC, preliminary site plan. Does anybody have any other questions regarding this?
I mean, one thing I will clear up is, this is a preliminary site plan and the public hearing. I'd be happy to answer any questions. So, for the residents that are near, there will be a solid fence with a buffer area to, buffer this business from the resident.
Okay, so no other public comments, so we're going to close that hearing. And I think we probably covered most of the questions, but anybody have anything else? Do you have any comments, Morgan, in regard to the preliminary site plan?
I have no, all my comments have been addressed. We would recommend moving to the next step.
Okay, thank you. So what is the pleasure of the commission? Do we have any motions?
Question, is this the site where the patio cover company was?
Not that I'm familiar with.
Right there in that bend where the creek crosses.
No, it's at the corner of Jubin and
That was Eric Courtney and his
Speller's
dad
Ranch.
Bill. That was the Courtney family, I believe.
Yeah, this is at the intersection of Spillers and Jubin.
We're just, so they can move forward. So do you have a motion? Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second
Okay,
it.
Mr. Guidry, second by Mr. Engler.
Mr. Engler,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Erdy,
yes.
Mr. Guidry,
Yes.
Mr. Wax,
Yes.
Mr. Dana,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Ferris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 13, the CNC RV and boat storage conditional use permit, Jubin Road, Section 20, T7S, R3E, zoned R1, District 5. And would you please state your name, sir?
Rudy Simcoe, with McLean Taylor. Seems to be a theme tonight. Yes, conditional use permit. This is zoned R1, and we're asking to put a RV and boat storage, small business, to meet the needs of the surrounding area, and gonna answer any questions that y'all may have.
All right. Let's see. Any comments or issues from the department? Nothing to add to it? Yes, ma'am. And you are?
Erin Sandifer, Council District 5. I support this as well. 2 properties down is a mini storage. Pretty cut and dry, straight up. No extras, no tricks, no. It is what it is. No drainage issues, and it won't. So looking at it from a future planning angle, it's easy to relocate or move because it's just a boat storage and RV place. So that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. Thank you.
Okay, are these individual units, like, are they a structure or are they just more slots or?
These are just going to be slots and covered.
So they will be covered, so
Yes,
covered slots.
yes.
Okay.
Especially the ones that you drive into. I think they're exploring the options where the ones closer to Juban may not be.
Covered way back. Other-
Okay.
I'm good. You can-
Okay, so any other questions or comments from anyone? Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is not going to be a tall storage facility, then? A question for Rudy.
No, it's just the awnings.
And
Rudy, is that correct?
it's not going to be very tall, like, we're not talking a very tall
No,
storage
it's
building, okay.
one story, just pull in, park your boat or whatever, and it's a cover over
So
top
I'm
of it.
just thinking, and this is probably more something for the council to think about, but just being mindful of if we're going to allow for boat storage in residential areas as a conditional use, the first thing that comes to my mind is the super tall one that's in Killian. So we may want to think about restrictions around the big blue building, right? And because if we're going to allow, and this is not on Mr. Rudy at all, but just something to think about moving forward, that if we're going to allow some of those, we might want to think about height restrictions on some of the storage facilities.
Yeah. All right, any other questions or comments? I think we probably addressed that pretty thoroughly. So, do we have any motion?
I'll make the motion, accept it.
I'll second.
That was Mr. Guidry seconding or Mr. Erdy? Mr. Guidry, that's what I thought. Okay. All right.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 14, CNC RV boat storage preliminary site plan. Public hearing is open. Wait, did we just? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Which one we do?
I apologize.
It was on the agenda, preliminary site plan and then conditional use?
No, that ain't
Yeah.
happened on there, but ours.
Yeah, we just approved conditional use.
So, we haven't done the public hearing on it.
Oh.
No, we have
No,
not.
I don't think we did. I think,
Yeah, we haven't done this one. Yeah, this is the public hearing for the CNC RV. We've done the conditional use, but we have not done, no. Okay, you all stand corrected. No. Okay, all right.
We're in the right direction.
Yes, okay, so item 14 again, I'll repeat, we've opened the public hearing for this, and state your name, sir.
yes, Rudy Senko, Macklin Taylor.
Thank you.
CNC RV and boat storage.
Okay, the public hearing's open. Do I have anyone that'd like to discuss it other than the representative? Okay, closing the public hearing. And I think we've kind of discussed it thoroughly. Does anybody else have any other questions for him? Anything from engineering?
All of our comments have been addressed. We
Everything's
would
addressed. Okay,
recommend to
perfect.
move to the
And
next.
planning is good as well. All right, so do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, accept.
Mr. Engler with a
Second.
second by Mr.
Pass.
Clemens. We can take a
Mr.
vote,
Engler?
please.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, that you can move forward on that, Mr. Rudy. Okay, so, moving on to item number 15. This is the introduction of an ordinance, and it's the proposed ordinance to amend Chapter 127 of the Livingston Parish Code related to the procedures for review of a site-specific master plan and add section 127-10. So I think we just needed to have a discussion on this. If there's any recommendations anyone has to make. Yes, you may.
This is the one that has us specify what plan someone has when they ask for a rezone. If they come in and ask for a rezone to R2 or R1, whatever, and then decide later they're going to change their plan that we just gave them a zoning for, boom, zoning's gone. Am I correct?
Yes and no. Let Mr. Steve answer that. But yeah, you're correct. It was for mixed uses when we needed to use it the first time. Because it said C 12710. Well, there wasn't one, so Mr. Steve wrote 12710. Which said, I'll adhere.
What I did was I created what was a phantom ordinance in the development code. There were references to it in the plan unit development saying that you had to follow this process, and it referred you to the place that you go to for the process, and it had never been adopted. So I wrote one. And the one thing I changed was that I made provision so that it can be used for other zoning classifications than just plan unit developments by saying whenever it's required in the code. And this is to give the council the option, if they desire to do so, that in other zoning classifications where in the rezone request they may want more information out of the person that's proposing it than just what the lot looks like, they can specify in the zoning ordinance that a rezoning for that classification is subject to this procedure. So, and then they would have to follow, and what you see here is a procedure for a concept to be submitted to the Planning Commission and considered and go through the process.
Okay, just for clarification, for my sake, and I don't know if it's helpful or not, but are we saying if someone comes for this change and they say, I'd like to do a boat storage or whatever, and they're providing that information as requested, and then they go and they do all the research and they discover what would have to happen for drainage, et cetera, and decide this project isn't feasible financially or for whatever other reason. So then they've decided, okay, instead I'm going to do a bait and tackle store. And so would that nullify what they've done and they have to come back and start over? Or
they would have to, this process envisions approval of a plan and an approval of the rezoning request. And if the plan changes, they would have to come back and get a new plan because they can only do what's in the plan that's been approved.
This scratches the itch of the concept.
Yeah,
it's the concept plan idea that Mr. Simmons was pushing. And this was an easier way to do it without rewriting the entire Livingston Parish Code. Taking out every piece where something's approvable.
What's this process that you just went through with the boat storage thing, where they come in with their design for it and they come in to request a conditional use permit? Well, once this is in place for those zoning classifications where it would apply, they would come in with one presentation, which is everything, and they would put it before you, and you would grant the rezoning request and the approval of the plan, and you would have it all done.
If I can elaborate, for my input, it started when John Mangus called me, and he says, I see a loophole that somebody can come and ask for zoning and give us a whatever reason, and then do something else entirely once they get the zoning they want. And they can do that on purpose. And he asked me to look into what the other parishes do. And I did that. I researched well over 50 parishes, and most of them require someone to have a plan and requires them to follow through on the plan in rezoning. And so I wrote up my findings. I gave to John, and we presented them, and Mr. Marty Maley took it from there. And this is the outcome, but where it started was with the council members, actually. But the question is, when someone submits a zoning request, are they actually going to have to follow through the reason that they give us for doing it?
And is
Ms.
that,
Kathy, to answer your question, that, yes, they would have to.
They have to
come
start
back if
over.
They change their mind, because they're declaring on the front end what the use is and what they plan on doing with it. And what Steve's done is a really unique fix that doesn't require rewriting, 300 code ordinance. Pretty brilliant on
I have a question, Mr. Steve. As I understand it, reading this proposed ordinance is that it only applies to anything built under the multifamily ordinances. That's
Right now, as we sit, it's only the planned unit developments that this applies to. But the council can take any zoning classification, and I think maybe there's already something floating around in R4 to require this process for that zoning classification. So maybe you don't need it for R1, but for something real dense like R4, you do this.
But what is before us only applies to anything that is multifamily under the multifamily ordinance of the parish, which is apartments, multifamily, townhomes, garden homes, etc. Okay, this only applies to them that particular development right now. Only when it's going, if it's being rezoned. Am I correct?
It's right now this provision's in the planned unit development section, and so this specific procedure is written into the PUD, a rezoning to a PUD. But like I say, I have in the title to it, I have made it so that it can be used broader than that, so that the council can decide.
You're talking about another document to come before us, not.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir. They would
But only tonight, only this ordinance is anything multifamily rezoning only.
No, this is specifically for the planned unit developments right now. This is the procedure that's envisioned.
It doesn't say planned unit development anywhere in it that I read.
No, there is a reference to a procedure that has to be followed, and the procedure wasn't here, and so I wrote the procedure. Here.
I think what Mr. Burns is trying to say is this ordinance, they are placing it under the multifamily development.
Okay.
So it is only under multifamily development in our
Only.
ordinances.
Okay.
Now, you can add things later. I would assume you're going to do that, right?
Yes.
Probably anything. Is this strictly for PUDs?
At this time, it would only apply to the 127, but the council can apply it to other zoning classifications, rezoning requests.
Besides mixed-use PUD.
Yeah, they can, this is just a structure that can be used by the council in other circumstances than the one that it's currently in.
A lot of this stuff we already do. When a developer brings up a preliminary site plan to us, we approve a lot of this stuff already.
Okay, but this is on the zoning side as opposed to the planning side. Yes, when a piece of property has a zoning classification, somebody wants to develop something, they bring you a plan.
All right.
But what this is doing is taking that plan process that's currently on the development side, and for some zoning classifications, saying you've got to do some of this when you're going to come in. If you want to seek a rezoning to one of these classifications where it applies, you're going to have to provide us more information. You're going to have to provide us something that's closer to what you would have to submit to us on the planning side.
Now, I have a question. So basically, to what degree are they going to have to, what will be required for submission? Because a lot of people look at, well, if I can't change the zoning, I don't want to invest what it's going to require, depending on to what degree, what's required in this. When you're saying they've got to provide some information, how much and to what, like, are they having to involve engineers and make investments that then if they're rejected, where, most people in this circumstances want to see if it's approved at all. Now, I can see saying, I commit that this is what the project will be, et cetera, but what is the level of
This exact issue has already come up once before the council, and it involved there were existing buildings on the site. And so what was submitted as the plan was the aerial photograph of the existing buildings and say, these are the buildings that are going to be used, and there was a description of the use. So this would not require the level of detail that you would have to have if you were going to come in on the planning side and with all your roads, all your drainage, all your sewage and everything else. This is a concept.
so more conceptual. So
Yeah.
is this going to be defined in this ordinance of what that entails?
It is defined. It's in there.
Specifically of what?
You can ask for more, you guys go, we like showing us a
Mm-hmm.
little more detail, and you can get them to go get.
And because if somebody can go and say, in Baton Rouge, this exists, this is the concept I'm trying to do, and bring it, that's acceptable.
Yeah, they might need to sketch out on a piece of paper and show
Sure.
you where the building's going to be, and maybe have a picture of what the building's going to be like. It's
But in generality, it's just the concept only, but not requiring a great deal of, yeah.
It's not detailed down to.
And that's my concern, is requiring
rooms and
engineers and, a major investment,
No,
so.
the idea is that somebody comes in and says, I'm going to build a brick house, and they bring you a chicken coop instead, and
Correct,
that you'd be
yeah.
able to tell it.
I just didn't know to what degree
Yeah,
the requirement
They're not
would be.
bringing it to us for 20 more parking lots or spots.
Right,
something like that.
okay.
They don't have to rezone.
Look at it and go, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just wanted
And it
to
gives
make
us-
sure we weren't putting too much of a burden by requiring, yeah. No, it sounds like that.
It also gives us the option to require more of them, and we've had that problem here recently as well.
Right.
Define very clearly what we can and can't ask. We can ask for them that we want a little more.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll just have just one small layer to both of those things. So on here it says where you can ask for up to site plan, drainage impact study, traffic impact study, school so we don't necessarily have to have all of those for every single thing. They can just, gotcha, okay.
At this stage, it would only be May.
Okay.
But we can
so-
always ask for up to all of
Yeah.
those things, gotcha.
Yeah, okay.
More
The,
importantly, this is a blueprint for how we start to handle the other zones as well. But you have to start with the framework somewhere.
Right, I guess I'm just concerned for people to think, well, for me to even start, I don't have all this, and they're saying they can ask for. I think when they go to the department, we need to clarify that doesn't mean we would necessarily. You wouldn't have to move forward if you didn't want to, but I just don't want to place too much burden on someone when they could get rejected, or when they start to investigate and realize the cost involved and drainage studies, et cetera, and say, I don't have those funds, then they determine, okay, I've got to walk away. And it prevents them from making major investments. I just wanted to make sure that that wouldn't be a burden put on them. So.
My question is still the same as it was last time on the other ordinances, the fairness. When you have someone in there asking and you say, I'm not going to ask them to do this study, then the other one over here asks and say, I think you need to do these studies. That's going to be my
have to have a
whole hang-up
reason.
on any of this, is being fair to everybody.
Yeah,
So I want to point out, they're going to have to do these studies.
Yeah, I
At the
understand.
end of the day, they're going to have to do them. But I feel like if you're going to ask them to do these extra studies, you're really considering giving them that zoning change. Because they are going to
Long as
need
it's
it
fair.
eventually.
As long as it's fair.
Right,
I don't want
but
to come
they
up with
can
some test
accept that,
we don't
but-
do, some study.
Yeah, but if
I'm
you're
sorry.
asking them to do that
Well, that would be
in
y'all's
order
discretion.
to get the zoning approved, they're saying, well, I've got to invest $20,000 and you could tell me no. And so it's reasonable to expect that they shouldn't have to present things that are very costly. So that's my concern, is that we could have the possibility to ask for a drainage study or something. Because the reality is, if we approve the change and they move forward and the drainage study came back and it wasn't feasible, they can't do it anyway. You would shut them down. So we're really protected by not having that. So I don't think that being part of it, I don't necessarily like that part of it.
But that's why it's made.
I know, but still, it sets the precedent.
I think that if someone comes in and they come up here and they have a lot of people that come to tell them about their property that they didn't know, like you're in a flood zone, you're this far below BFE, it might just start the conversation of, have you looked at how much fill? Have you looked at the amount of ponds you're gonna have to put? So I think that it's more getting a conversation started than y'all aren't gonna actually be asking for these studies.
But it allows for us to ask.
It does
So
allow.
that's what I don't
That's your
like.
discretion.
But it still allows for it. Yes, sir.
Marty Maley, I think you both raised really, really good questions. Sliding scale, right? It depends on the size of the project. A little bitty project might not get as much scrutiny, right, as a really, really, really big project. So the people that come in to ask for the rezoning request and they have a small project, they're probably not going to have to do, look, you can't be arbitrary and capricious. You gotta be fair, just like you said, you gotta be fair to everyone. But not every project is the same. So you give the administration the flexibility to analyze the project and help the people decide whether, they really want to go forward. And you skin that cat too, because like Clemens says, you're trying to nail them down to keep the developer, the nefarious developer who wants to come in and tell you, I'm going to do A, and all of a sudden he gets it rezoned and he comes back and A became X, Y, and Z.
Well, and I agree
and that's
with
what they're trying to fix.
but I agree with them presenting something conceptual, and it's going to be 6 buildings and it can't suddenly be 18. I agree with all of that. It's more the fact that when you require a financial investment on something that they could get rejected, and us being arbitrarily saying you have to do it, but you don't. It's like, well, my neighbor did this and he didn't have to do so I don't think that we can necessarily get away with that. Now, requiring them to have a planning meeting where they are told all these things and they may walk away. You've informed them and they can walk away. Also, informing them with the entire process, and including the conceptual idea being put in there. But I think when we could ask for certain things that require a fairly large financial investment, I think that's where the problem comes in. And maybe ask for a few things that aren't quite as much of a commitment. Because if you go in and you're like, I can't even get a loan if you don't zone it right. So that none of that can take place. So they can't move forward anyway. And so if they don't meet the conceptual idea, then it's squashed regardless because they have to come back. So adding that on, I don't know why it's necessary.
I'd recommend that we're not in a big hurry because I don't have any mixed use coming through, okay, for zoning changes. You got which one?
The one that waiting for this to be put in.
Oh, that. Yeah, but
Kathy, would it help if
it's
we
not
added
new,
the
it's
2 words
existing,
with
but
cause?
we wouldn't. The one we wouldn't give the permit to until this comes through. So I would recommend redlining what you want out of there, sending it to the council redline, and then whatever they do, they'll pass it with it in there, without it. Still won't be on you guys. And if y'all are making recommendations to the council anyhow, correct? So it's not like you are making them do all this. You're asking them to do it.
No, and
if we add the words with cause, the planning commission may ask for certain studies with cause. We say, you're right next to a creek, and this creek floods every 6 months historically. I want a drainage study. Because now you have with cause.
But at the
It's
same
not
time,
capricious.
that oftentimes is opinion, and it's based on, well, I drive by, and when I drive by, the ditch is full, and the next person, there's a lot of times it's very vague. If you don't live on the property or reside across from the property, you can't be sure of when those things happen, and you don't know when it happened. Was it a 50-year storm or was it a 10-year storm? None of those facts are known. And so for us to say with cause, that again is very, I think we're grasping at things when, like, based on what? There's no real firm.
Based on what Mr. Urban had said earlier with the conditional use, saying that, if you have a reason why you think it fits a conditional use, and that is the concept of with cause.
I just have a hard time asking people to do something that's a financial investment that doesn't go across the board when I don't know that it's necessary. If we're already saying, here's the concept, they have to provide pictures and layout and number of buildings or whatever the case, and this is parking lot, this is gravel or whatever, and they don't meet that, they're already, they're eliminated. So I don't know where the studies are going to apply because all that comes into the next phase anyway.
Well, it may be a rare circumstance that you want to get more information. I felt it appropriate to put a procedure in to obtain additional information because you ultimately want a concept that can be reviewed, and with confidence you can approve it and and understand what this is going to be. And so I fairly carefully worded the way all of the procedures, and I have to create a procedure that's going to apply in all circumstances, but I've got to make provision within those procedures for things that can be encountered. And so I tried to do a balance of that. And one of the things I've discovered in my 50-plus years of practicing law is that anytime that you leave an opportunity for somebody to come in and do something dumb, they will eventually do it. Somebody will eventually do it.
But would we not catch that when it becomes plans and going to engineering and all that anyway?
It may be too late at that point in time. It would be a whole lot better to find that kind of information out if the situation is serious enough that the planning commission or the planning staff thinks more information is needed, then there's a potential serious problem with this project, and the person who's proposing it needs to be aware of that and decide what kind of commitment they want to make for it.
I got to get something clear. Paragraph 5, additional material can include a more detailed preliminary site plan, drainage impact study, traffic study, school, and fire. Is this going to be required to bring, if a developer wants to bring it to the planning department to even present it to the zoning commission to get a zoning rezone?
That's what we're talking about.
All these items have to be done before it can come to us for a rezone?
The point is it's saying it's possible.
In my opinion, like Mr. Scooter said, we can redline some things. I'd like to redline that whole statement.
Okay.
Marty Maley, here's the deal. You're trying to draw a box, right, around the information. One box doesn't fit every single scenario, the same size box, and that's what you're struggling with. That's why you have the word may in there, because this group right here, when they come to them, planning department, upstairs, when they come to them, they can ask them those questions if it applies. Look, if there's a 100-year flood problem where they're trying to build something, then they can bring that up and say, hey guys, you probably need to do a drainage study because you're never going to get past this whole process without doing it. And they have to make a financial decision, right? Do I want to spend the money to do that? And so what we're really trying to do here is just get people to be honest with the process.
Right.
That's what this is all
but
about.
I think they're being
It's
right.
But
can I offer a comment real quick?
Yeah.
Paragraph 5 does not say may.
It says can.
The word
it should
may
say
is not
may.
in the document anywhere. So I think at the very least we need that qualification that paragraph 5 I think should say the proposed development plan and may require any additional information.
That's fine.
Yeah, right. That makes it a little clearer.
Well, let me just say.
Can I finish my comment, please? Additional material may include a more detailed preliminary site plan, et cetera. All that being said, what are we asking of Ms. Morgan at that stage? So if we then say, we need y'all to do all these studies, there's no requirement for you to do anything at that stage. So are we then turning on a new requirement, or are we saying, we're going to take all those studies and we're going to review
that's
them
what
and
I'm
interpret
concerned
them?
about.
Because
It's
I
open.
think Morgan is anticipating, she doesn't have to do anything at this stage, and so
Yeah.
we may be pigeonholing her into doing more
It-
work or
It's
work out of
opening
order than what we
something,
typically
and
do.
a drainage
Administratively,
study,
Let me say something, Ms. Kavanaugh. I think it was last meeting, we went into detail about the procedures of any development that comes to the planning department. After zoning has been approved, all these studies have to be done before it's brought to the planning commission. Now you're requiring it to be done on the zoning. Well, it says that
it
in
says
paragraph
possibly,
5.
yeah.
It says
And-
that,
It-
okay? So it's double jeopardy. You got to do it before zoning and after zoning. So why don't we wait and do it like the orders that we agreed to last time, require it when it comes to the planning department. They bring those studies before it's brought to us with the preliminary site plan.
One side is zoning, and this only applies to a rezoning request. You have a
Correct.
piece of property that's zoned R1, and I want to zone it R4. That would be a circumstance. It's only going to apply to certain rezoning requests. So,
That's my
I
concern.
understand
And,
that, but that's not,
yeah,
that's double jeopardy on the developer.
but
I think if you're going in and you don't know, and you've got to look at this community, there's a lot of people that have owned property for years, and that's their retirement plan, and they want to attempt to do something. And as we've seen, we've got to change a lot of zoning. So there's a lot of things that come into play. And so when you're suddenly asking them to invest $25,000 into a study, which is a reasonable amount to say that a drainage study will be, depending on the circumstance, and more, it could easily be more, that's a lot of a requirement based on something vague. Yeah, I'd like to see it because the creek fills up. I mean, that's a lot of burden to put on them when you could turn around and it's, the answer is no. And that individual, because it's not all big developers that do things. There are small community people that do things also, but they want to come and feel it out and do, I want to do this. And I think it's just a big burden to ask for things that are costly. Now, to get more information for various other reasons, I think that's fine. It's just when it's becomes a big cost burden is my problem.
yeah, I have to make a provision for both ends of the spectrum. You know, any loophole that I leave for the small landowner who's got a little problem, he's going to come in and make it simple for him. That's also going to wind up being the same for the big developer who comes in, who actually is the guy who wants to cheat.
Right.
And so there has to be a way to make that fit. The only way I could see to make that fit was to make it optional, and it can, may, it doesn't make any difference, but they are certainly likely to be times when a rezoning proposal comes in, and I would not anticipate that if somebody came up with 10 acres to be rezoned, that this is going to be a big problem. But if somebody comes in with 500 acres to be rezoned, and I've got 500 acres, I want to rezone to R4 in the middle of an R1 area. Well, let's see what the concept that we have on this is. That's the idea.
And I don't object to the concept. It's the financial investment at that stage, because if they're moving forward, they're going to be required to do all that anyway, and it'll have to adhere to the requirements and of the engineering department, and the study itself will determine what the end result is. So that already happens. So just to request the change, and like you say, if they don't do what they asked for, it's nullified anyway, and they have to come back.
Oh, my only question would be, I guess, the threshold of that, right? So, if somebody wants to rezone just a couple of acres to do 3 duplexes on, they're not going to have to do a school impact study. You know, there's not that many families. But if they want to build a 500-unit place, obviously they do. But at some point, who determines that threshold? Do we tell them to go get more information, or is that in the planning?
The problem with setting thresholds is that somebody will come and do a little bit, and then a little
Just
bit more, and
right.
then a little bit more, and exploit
But I'm
that
saying,
as a
like,
loophole.
at one point, who decides when we do want that additional information? Okay.
The only thing that I can do with this procedure is to put in a process by
Right.
which it can be
I understand
requested.
that. Yeah.
At some point, you have to trust your professional staff to make a decision.
And ultimately, even if they get all the studies, whether we tell them they need the extra ones or not, ultimately, when all the studies come in, we decide whether, at that point, to approve it or not.
Well, the engineers will establish that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, Marty Maley, so this is a great philosophical discussion, and you guys have taken it from one end to the other. If you embrace concept plans and you look at the parishes that have embraced them, they're very restrictive. Look at in Lafayette. Look at the extremely hard to have it both ways. Either you're gonna trick vision, that's what, or you're gonna doing business, you know, it's just a philosophical decision or concept. Really, really tough to make it fit without bearing down, saying, come to me, you gotta tell me what you're gonna do. That's the real fundamental question. And how do you draw that box around that? Because it's gonna be different for every single person that comes in for a rezoning request, right? It depends, like you said, it depends on, Mr. Hardy, it depends on whether it's a 500 home development or, a convenience store. How do you, and right now you've got all these categories in your zoning laws, which allow for, if I get it rezoned to R2, there's a whole bunch of things that it's illustrative. There's a whole bunch of things in R2 that tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And this process restricts that. This process, and that's what I was trying to tell you earlier, without changing 200 zoning ordinances, trying to do it in a way that gives the staff some flexibility. They can't be arbitrary capricious. They're going to get sued. So they got to be fair about the way they apply it. The question is, and y'all made some great improvements on what Steve did. The question is, do you want this concept in your ordinances or not? That's the fundamental question.
Well, the question that I have, Mr. Marty, is
Yes,
going
sir.
back to paragraph 5 again. It gives all the authority to the planning department to order all these studies before you even get to a rezoning. If you struck paragraph 5, I could do this.
I understand your concern.
But you're going to
I mean,
make these people spend tens and $20s and $100,000 on studies ordered by the planning department.
you,
not
Ms.
the
Long,
planning-
you, Ms. Long, share
Let me-
that
let me
concern.
finish. Not
Yeah.
the planning commission, nor the zoning commission. It's given authority to the planning department. And that's where the error is.
Well, and that's my concern too, is that investment that's required versus the conceptual and sticking to that. And if you stray from that, then no, you got to start over. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
It's more the financial impact.
Mr.
Why
Maley,
don't you let us go back to the
could I
drawing
ask a
board?
question here? Is it possible to separate these two items? One is having the accountability on the request and to separate who's actually ordering the study. Can we divide those two items?
I think Steve,
And retain-
I think
and
Steve
retain the
drafted it the way he
purpose.
did to try to put the teeth into it to make people follow the rule. That's the dilemma. And maybe it's got too many teeth in it. Maybe it needs to have some teeth pulled.
When you go back to the drawing board, Mr. Marty, take a look at paragraph 5, okay, and
Yes, sir.
delete that. And don't make the developer responsible for doing all these very costly studies before he even brings it back to us on a rezone. That's done on the secondary stage where they come back to us with a preliminary site plan for us to approve. It's already in the orders. You don't need to do it.
There is a limitation in number 5 that I want to point out.
I delete paragraph 5 in its entirety. That's
There is a limitation that says the additional information can be required needed to determine the compatibility of the development plan with the surrounding area. In other words, it's not an open invitation to require this information for any purpose. It's if it's required to determine the compatibility of the development plan with the surrounding area.
And I have no problem with like the school study, the things that aren't real costly, but when it comes into a drainage study, that's the one that I have the real problem with because they're very expensive and time consuming. That takes months at times. And that's my bigger concern is something to that degree at this level because it's still got to come through all that phase when we get into the actual planning phases. So it's going to happen, and if it doesn't meet what we need, that'll be addressed at that point in time. But
procedurally, what would be the next proposed step? Would it be to send it to ordinance or send it to the council?
Send it to the council.
No, he's
This
going to
is already introduced,
We haven't
right?
decided what he's going to do. That's why I'm asking.
I believe this is
suggested going
introduced at
redraw
the
it.
last meeting.
Okay, so
This was introduced at the last meeting.
Yes. So this would, the planning commission would make a recommendation to the council about this ordinance.
And that's where, now, Marty, you mentioned going back to the drawing board with it.
You can make edits. You can recommend moving forward with the concept, not to have a play on words, and make your suggested edits with regard to what needs to come in, what needs to stay in, what needs to go out. I think you can do it. You can make your recommendation with amendments.
So we could possibly say, you know, we agree with the conceptual commitment and everything that entails, but not with the financial investment requirements in item 5.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Just for clarification. If, let's say because this is kind of for the attorneys, let's just say they approve a zoning change in the concept plan only. And then they come to me and they submit their drainage impact study and they just cannot make this drainage work. At that point, you can't do that development anyway. Like you can't change it.
The zoning change would fail at that point.
That's my point.
Under this process.
Yeah, it would squash it when it got to planning because the draining doesn't allow what they wanted to do to happen. So they have to go get a new idea. And therefore,
They'd have to come back
what
for
you've
another
changed
zoning
works
request.
because it killed it and they have to come back with a new concept.
Yep.
But the study happened at least after they were like, okay, we've been approved, that we can move forward. Now, it may be an adjustment that you have to go from 7 buildings to 6, and that, you know, that can be acceptable because the concept is still the same, versus if they do something dramatically different, is when we say that you didn't meet the concept presented for your zoning change, therefore this project can't move forward. It's just the financial commitment part in 5 that I'm against.
What you could do in 5, you could take out the sentence that says begins additional material can include a more detailed down through fire protection review. You could take that sentence out.
Yeah.
Taking that sentence out would relieve the financial
That's
burden.
that's my only goal.
And then item 6 says, when the planning and zoning department determines sufficient information has been provided, then we move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it says additional material can include a more detailed preliminary site plan. I would suggest we leave that because my fear is that we get like a back of the envelope sketch of I'm gonna stick a trailer over here, and then when it really comes down to it, it's, you know, significantly different than what they presented us, but we didn't ask for more details.
No,
and that's vague enough where a more detailed preliminary site plan is not saying you have to produce engineering
Correct.
drawings, it's
Yeah.
not producing studies. But if you didn't put where your driveway is going to be for this development, and we haven't left ourselves some leeway here, then we're not gonna be able to say, I need you to go back and show me where the entrances and exits are gonna be.
No, I agree with that. That is fine. It's more the big ticket things.
And
You
you're
could
not
put a
discriminating.
period after more detailed site plan, you could put a period right there and delete the rest of the sentence.
Yeah, you're not just, because if you need a little more information on the map, like you said.
Yeah, I
on
agree
drawing.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
It
not,
sounds to me like several of y'all have great edits, great suggestions
Yeah.
for edits. And perhaps the best way to do this might be just to table this for this meeting and put it on the next agenda. And you guys email us your edits and let us manipulate it and fix it and give you, otherwise you can pass it along and each of you can send your email edits and that can be part of the record and it can go to the next level. So, I understand that there are a handful of councilmen that want to move this, that are pushing this, that want this to go. But I also understand that it needs to be in a fashion where we don't create a whole bunch of problems, when we implement it and when we hand
Right.
it to the planning department.
Right.
Right?
So what we could do is recommend, because it's already been introduced, so it could be voted on, is move it forward saying we agree with the concept, but would like changes made to Section 5, and those changes will be submitted prior. What meeting would these be presented at? Yeah, which council meeting?
Why don't we just make a
Like you say.
motion to send it back?
well, no, hold on. Let's
On this
table it.
page, it says
It's-
the
it's-
23rd.
No, you don't want to send it.
Yeah, it's going to
Okay.
be on the next council.
But if we, like,
Why don't-
It says the
He's
council
already
meeting on
agreed to take it
23rd.
home and restudy it and rewrite it.
but if we
October or
redline it,
September?
I
Marty,
think
like
all
you
it
just
needs
said
to
about.
say is the planning and zoning department shall review the proposed development and may require additional information needed to determine the compatibility of the development plan with the surrounding area. Additional material may include a more detailed preliminary site plan, period.
Period.
Done.
Yeah,
That's it, period. That's
Yes.
our red line.
all right, you can recommend that.
So
to
we
the
can
council.
make that recommendation.
But does that give the planning department the right to order drainage impact
No, it does
studies
not.
before it comes to us on
We eliminated that.
He's just scratching that.
section
We
5?
scratched it.
You eliminated paragraph 5?
Yes.
All, not all.
All of it?
Not all.
The only thing
Not all of it.
is if we needed
I
more
want to see it
detailed
in
drawing.
writing before I vote on it.
Well, that's what Sarah just read, so it's all gone.
It's right here. If you,
Yeah. Okay, if, Sarah, would you
want to make
do
a
the
motion?
honors? Would you do the honors
Okay.
since you?
So I would move that we submit this to the council, amending paragraph 5 to say the planning and zoning department shall review the proposed development plan and may, instead of shall, we say may require any additional information needed to determine the compatibility of the development plan with the surrounding area. Additional material may include a more detailed preliminary site plan. We put a period there and we strike drainage impact study, we strike traffic impact study, strike school impact study, and/or fire protection review. So we take out the end of that sentence after
That's good.
preliminary site plan.
Thank
And
you.
then that way that gives them a little bit of, you didn't give us enough information
agree.
here,
Yeah,
but it
absolutely.
doesn't overly burden a smaller
And it
portion.
retains the teeth
I
that we're
second.
looking
Was that a
for.
motion?
Correct, correct.
Was that a motion?
That was a motion.
Yes, that was a
Right here.
motion.
I second that motion.
We have all that end of the room.
Warren did.
Pick one.
Warren did first.
He's new, so let's let him get it. He was early.
She wasn't through with it yet.
He was new until about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just
All
slipped
right,
right
can we
in,
take
yeah,
a
right in the
vote,
group.
please? Can we do it in unison?
Warren was second.
Warren was second. Yeah, second, Warren.
Everybody's wanting credit.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Erdy?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
I abstain.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long? Ms. Long?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, All right, that's item number 15. Does our parish attorney want to say anything else?
I have a 1-hour speech that I've written out,
We didn't say we would stay to listen.
but I know I would be giving it to myself if I continued to talk, so I think I better shut up.
Okay. We accept that. Okay, then, engineer,
No comment.
planning. Okay, I have some comments. We have to discuss the special meeting that we need for the master plan in October. So, any dates pop up for anybody that would work? Do we have a calendar by chance for the availability? Okay. Okay, so the first week isn't good.
When
Okay.
is the parish fair, the week of the 6th?
Yes, in October.
I'm due on October 18th, so.
Oh, all right.
I'm out of town the first week.
Sarah gets to pick the day. She's due on the 18th.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, so.
So the beginning, okay, and that, the 3rd, okay.
Let's do it when Mr. Burns goes out.
So,
I can't do it.
But just to clarify, this is in addition to our normal meeting, which would be on October 2nd?
correct.
Right?
7th?
No, the 2nd is our normal meeting. Yeah.
So you're looking at the 8th or the 18th, is what I'm hearing?
No, I just said I'm not likely to be here after the 18th because the baby's due on the 18th.
After the 8th, I won't be here.
Okay. So, what does the 7th look like?
7th?
The council's all open
The
for
council's
7th.
open, oh, on that Tuesday?
It's open date.
Oh,
We
it
can
is an
use it.
open day?
Yeah.
Okay, so
For
we
the
could do
council.
the 7th, it's a Tuesday. Any objections? Because that accommodates Mr. Guidry and it accommodates Mr. Burns. And anyone else, you're accommodated.
Just a second.
Is it at 6 or 5?
At 6, I presume? Is that good? Okay, so that's October 7th,
That day, what are we gonna be,
the master plan.
part of the master? The land use development code or? No.
The whole concept.
Land use development?
I believe,
No?
no.
So what in proving that?
Just the document that Abe sent today.
Yeah, the document sent today.
Yeah, so read the whole thing.
Yeah. The master plan document they sent out today. So, well, just look at that and you have until October 7th to read it. Okay. All right, so that'll be on October 7th. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Then we need to address our November and December meeting dates. I believe the council has already changed theirs. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so they stole our first Thursday, so we need to adjust that. We can go to the 4th, be before them, to stay in that first week. Is that a problem? Okay, so Tuesday the 4th? Oh, that's election. Does that matter? We could bring cookies or something.
It shows a DOTD meeting on their calendar.
Oh,
I'm
the
not sure
calendar
when that
says-
is, what
The
time. It
calendar
doesn't
says
give a time.
DOTD meeting, but we don't know.
It doesn't give a time, so I don't know.
No, the council took our
On the
night.
13th.
So it would be a whole week later.
But they open there.
I know, but isn't that the whole week later, the 13th?
It would be a week after.
Yeah,
It-
okay. Anybody? I know Wednesday the 5th is difficult. Monday the 3rd?
About 3rd on a Monday.
Monday the 3rd, anyone?
3rd on Mondays, okay with that? 3rd? Good.
It shows a master plan meeting.
Okay.
I don't know what that, there's no times. I don't know. Just says master plan.
Well, she's saying there's a master plan meeting scheduled, but I don't know.
Maybe that's something else. It just says master plan. Maybe it's not a meeting.
I don't need it.
We would have already adopted it.
They didn't.
Okay, we're going to be on the 6th, so if
That
y'all
might
need to
not be
move
a
your
meeting.
time, y'all can do that.
It doesn't.
I mean, on
say-
the 3rd, excuse me. On the 3rd.
It doesn't.
Huh?
Third.
November 3rd is a Monday,
Yeah.
okay? And
6
everybody
o'clock.
brings Sarah a baby gift. I know, but we can deliver, so
Yeah.
that is her baby shower.
So
Her-
November 3rd at
the,
6.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Monday the
Just-
3rd, November. All right, let's move to December. And they stole our 4th. So, thoughts? Tuesday the 9th or Tuesday the 2nd? Yep, December 2nd. It's a Tuesday.
Sounds good to me.
It's open, schedule's open. Everybody good? All right, so Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 PM. All right, 2nd on a Tuesday at 6 PM in that chair right there. Okay,
I'm with you.
all right. Any other comments? Okay, yes, sir. Welcome, Mr. Erdy. Your mic on, please.
All right, the October 2nd meeting, is that when we're voting on the master plan, or I know we got to look over what they sent today. Okay, so that's just a regular meeting?
Yeah, our regular meeting's on the
Okay.
2nd.
I was supposed to be out of town, but I may be able to leave later that night. But I'll get it figured out.
And the special meeting in October is what date? Natalie. when's
We have the special meeting October 7th, Tuesday at 6, November 3rd, Monday, 6, December 2nd, Tuesday at 6.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, no other comments? We are adjourned.